Hey guys, it's Christine, also known as IvyWinter. Thank you for joining me for another Disney Book Club video. It's a long overdue video. As always, I appreciate your patience since my videos are a little fewer and further between. What with having Grant, he is doing amazing, by the way. He is almost 3 months, and it's just been the best watching him develop and learn new things, and he's a very happy baby, but obviously a very time-consuming baby while I'm still on my leave. So I appreciate your patience, especially with this video for those of you who were reading along with me. And the last book club book was The High Republic Light of the Jedi. This is a first book in a series of books from the High Republic timeline of Star Wars. This is a new sort of timeline and introduction of characters that is 300 years before the prequel trilogy, though many thousands of years later after the Old Republic, if you know that at all from the video games and some of the novels and comic books. I am a big fan of the Old Republic, and so I thought I would also be a really big fan of this because it is going to an older time in Star Wars, and I always find that a little bit fascinating on, you know, kind of what happened before all the movies and before all of the stories that we know well. So that's what kind of interested me in this. The High Republic is a series of books. I believe the next one is going to be coming out soon. I want to say in July. And those are the more adult novels. There's also a young adult novel, and there's also a kids novel. So they're really doing a lot with this new franchise and story of Star Wars. But is it worth reading? So, like I said, this is 300 years for the prequels. This is the golden age of the Jedi. You know, the Republic is at its peak. It is a time of galactic expansion and exploration. Everything is right in the universe kind of situation when we open up in this novel. And the first chapter of this novel throws you right into a lot of the action, which I think was a pro. Well, it's a pro and a con. I'll explain why in a moment. But it really throws you right in. There are these reports of this debris, this very fast-moving, at light speed debris that is coming through the atmosphere and is endangering a potential planet. And then soon we learn, you know, a bunch of different locations, and that's kind of the gist in the beginning, and it opens up right into that whole story. What I say is a pro and a con. I mean, I love a book that goes right into what's happening without too much explanation, but I think that there's a fine line to walk where you do need some sort of introductory, you know, to the new world and the universe and the characters. And I think that it goes too far in the opposite direction. It was kind of hard to follow all of the characters that were being introduced, all of the locations, the ship names, and this goes on throughout the novel. I found it personally hard to keep up with everyone who kept getting introduced and who they were and what their role was. It kind of just throws a lot of information at you with some, but I feel like not enough actual, you know, background and story behind these characters, and expects you to just kind of like learn this new name, learn this new place, and then remember it as you move forward in the novel, and it's kind of hard with so much going on. It introduces some new Jedi characters, a couple of Jedi Masters, a couple of Padawans, and it introduced some new villains, though I didn't find them all that exciting. They are space pirates, which is fine, but I guess for me personally, not the most exciting Star Wars villains. To be fair, I guess doing more Sith would just be kind of samey as a lot of the other stories that we've seen. But come on, the Sith are a little bit more exciting, right, than space pirates. But they do introduce this new group of villains and this other villain row into the story, and obviously a whole bunch of new Jedi that, again, because there were so many names thrown at me, I don't know off the top of my head. And I feel like that was also a bit of a downside. I don't feel like any of the Jedi or the characters in general were characters that I was like, oh my gosh, I super love this character. They're so funny or interesting or nuanced, or I didn't really get a lot of that. I got more of that from the Black Spire novel that we read some time ago that was based on, Galaxy's Edge and the story of V and how the Resistance came to be on Black Spire, which then you experience when you're at the parks. I loved V. I loved a few of the different characters there. I feel like they had a lot to them. These Jedi are a bit straightforward, and just not that interesting to me, personally. I'm sure that some of you could argue otherwise. I just didn't think that any of them were standout. The author also, because it's Golden Age of the Jedi, it's very much like Jedi right, and everyone else wrong. And I think that we've seen enough nuance in even a lot of the movies and the things that have been discussed that it's not that black and white. Are they truly like the good guys? I love that sort of idea. I think it was brought up a little bit in The Last Jedi, and I don't know. I just think that concept's interesting. So I understand this is the Golden Age of the Jedi, and so the thinking is very old school of like they're the good guys, but that really wasn't my cup of tea. There's also a lot of talk of this starlight beacon that is being constructed. It is basically a space station which is supposed to be like a lighthouse, essentially, that is supposed to light the way of new explorers so that they aren't getting caught up in the dangers of the Outer Rim, and it lights the safe way to travel. There's a lot of that happening, and it's being delayed, and then it happens, and I guess I kind of understood the very on-the-nose metaphor of the Starlight Beacon and the Jedi and all of that. That is something that is talked about throughout the novel. You do see a character that we all know and love show up at some point in a very minor way. Of course, they have to always have like a nod like that, right? Something familiar. Won't say who it was. That was kind of cool. I liked that as well. And this is a very fast-paced novel in that it's very easy to read because of that. It's like 300 pages, and it was very easy to blow through, so I liked it for that. It was a very easy read. I think we needed that after we did Disney War, which was a very heavy read, leaning towards this fictional, easy, breezy, like great summer book to read. So taking all of that into consideration, I always try to throw, a letter grade out there for a book. I was not as enamored with it as I was expecting to be. I didn't dislike it per se, but it didn't wow me either. I'm kind of coasting in the middle there. So I'm going to give it, I don't know, probably a C plus, B minus. It's somewhere on the cusp there. I just think a lot of the writing and the plot is disjointed. I think that there could be a little bit more in terms of establishing a lore there for this time frame, but I do think it's really fun. It's really fast paced. There's a lot of action. Like I said, it's a very easy read, and if that's what you're looking for, this might be the book for you. Question is, will I go on to read the next one? I'm not quite sure. I'm kind of on the fence of if I want to continue the story, and I think part of that is because, like I said, I didn't fall in love with any of the characters personally. That's just my honest review. However, as I always do with every book review, I also give you the opportunity to win a copy to read yourself. And by all means, do not let my review stop you from checking this out if it does sound like something that's interesting. Like I said, I'm not saying it's a bad book by any means. It just wasn't, I guess, what I expected it to be. But it might be right up your alley. So if you want to win a copy of The High Republic, Light of the Jedi, there's only two things that you need to do, and that is be a subscriber, leave a comment below about why you want to read this book, or if you're thinking about giving it to someone, who you want to give it to and why. That's it. Subscribe, leave that comment. I will pick a winner within a week. It's really important that you check back on your comments or your YouTube notifications because I respond directly to the person who wins. It's randomly picked, and then I respond and ask for your information. So if you don't want to miss out on winning the book, you need to make sure you're checking your notifications. I've had that happen where I've had to pick a second winner because the first just disappears and doesn't get back to me. So don't do that. Make sure that you check the comments within a week and see if you were the winner. I'll also pin that winner comment to the top so you'll know for sure who it was. I would also love to know in the comments below for the people who did read along for book club, and man, you had a lot of time to read this novel because we took a huge break when I had grants. What did you think of the novel? What would you give it in terms of a letter grade? Did you like the characters? Did you not? were the certain plot points that you liked the most. Try not to be too spoilery if you can, but would love to know. And there's also more discussion that goes on in the Discord. There is a book club channel there, but there's also a lot of other things that we discuss there. Video games and movies and planning Disney park trips and just general chatter. So you should definitely join the Discord. I will leave a link below. If you like this video, then like it. If you like me, you should subscribe. Admittedly, my videos, like I said, have been fewer and far between, but I promise you that they will keep coming out. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great rest of the day. Bye.